Ladies and gentlemen, we're back in the Real Deal Talk studio. Epic Fighting 58, day 3, round 3 of fighter interviews. However, today we're throwing a little bit of a wrinkle into the show, and we're interviewing the sponsors, the ones who make it happen behind the scenes financially for Epic Fighting. And today we have David P. Shapiro, ladies and gentlemen, of David P. Shapiro, Criminal Defense Attorneys. David, welcome to the show.
It's good to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Let's go. And this guy, so we started warming up. He was just talking to me, and I'm like, okay, this guy's got, I said, bring the mic closer because he's got a phenomenal radio voice here. I think you should start a podcast after this. Do you already have one?
I don't. I've been on a decent number. I've been told that.
Okay.
It's hard. I have to try to mask the New York accent that still sticks with me 20-something years.
Hey, you know what I'm talking about? Hey, forget about it. Forget about it. I'm from Jersey, so.
Okay, I grew up on Staten Island, and go back every year. My mother actually lives in Monmouth Beach.
No way.
Yep.
Yeah, don't hide that. Be proud, bro. Come on now.
It comes out if I'm drinking, and if it comes out if I'm upset. When I'm calm, I try and mask it a little bit.
Drinking, upset, and around the old cronies from back east.
And watching sports.
Yeah.
That'll do it like clockwork.
Like this. Like immediately.
Yep.
All right, so David, let's go back. How did you, first and foremost, just give me the 60, 120-second pitch of what you do. Obviously, the title says it all, in my opinion, but give them there, and then we'll talk about Epic.
Sure. My firm helps good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime, and it's more than a trademark slogan. We're a criminal defense firm here in San Diego. Anyone from first-time DUIs all the way to we have multiple homicides we're handling right now at the highest of levels. So we're a criminal defense firm, 4 attorneys, including me, 4 full-time support staff.
Wow, incredible. Now, do you how does it work? You have the ones that are automatically assigned to criminals. That's not you. You are.
Correct. Yeah, there's the public defender's office that gets assigned cases from the court or from the county.
Right.
And then there are private criminal defense firms. We are a private criminal defense firm. 100% of what we do is all payments from the actual client.
Gotcha. Okay. I want to get that out there.
Absolutely.
And now I'm fascinated. So you and I are going to have to schedule a later podcast.
Absolutely.
I want to dig further into this. But today, because of Jason and Harvey, we don't have much time. They keep me on a short rope.
Thank you for them.
Right. Otherwise, we'll go all day here. We won't even get to the fight because we'll still be interviewing. All right. So, when did you first lock in and become a sponsor with Epic?
Sure. It was May of 2022, so about 2.5 years now.
Nice. And then, how did you find them?
I found Epic. I've known Jason for a while. Yeah. Ironically enough, I knew Jason's father when he was an attorney doing criminal defense work.
Wow.
Jason and I both were on the board of directors at Genesis Recovery for a while. I've run into Jason pretty much anywhere and everywhere, whether it was at the Andre Reed Foundation Celebrity Golf Tournament, whether it was down at the Embarcadero, working with Cali Strong events. And I've sort of seen Jason everywhere. Anyone who knows Jason, right?
Right.
Whether it's the hair or whatever, it seems like he's everywhere.
Yeah.
And we were always connecting, and he was trying to get me to do Epic for a while, and I gave in, and I'm so glad I did.
And that's so funny about Jason. So I had him on the podcast, and before that, I had seen this freaking dude everywhere. And so we had never met for years, and he had seen me because we're very similar branding animals.
Okay.
Like red and black all over the place. I just don't have the hair, and I can't do a handstand on a skateboard. Yeah, that's the only difference between the two of us. Now we're anyway. So talk to me about your first. Let's go back to your first experience when you became a sponsor. Now, had you gone to a fight prior to sponsoring?
Not MMA.
Okay.
I'm more boxing is more my thing.
Yeah.
But MMA, I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it, whether it's local or national or international level. All I knew was the excitement seemed real.
Yeah.
And I knew what a good job Epic did as far as promoting the fights and taking care of their sponsors. So for me, it was a no-brainer. And, sometimes you advertise and it's like, oh, we want a 5 times or a 7 times ROI.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't really about that. It was an opportunity, too, to be able to go out with my team 4 times a year to go out there and have a great night.
Yes.
And that in and of itself is worth it, not to mention all the collateral benefits of being a sponsor.
That's well said, dude. Like perfectly said. And that's so we have a wellness center that when you walked in, I've had a mattress company for 20 years. We just launched Real Deal Wellness 90 days ago. And so we became an official sponsor with Real Deal Wellness. So this next fight, we will have a VIP table right in the midst of the big people like David P. Shapiro here. So, and just what you said, I'm so excited because the crew we're bringing in is, we're coming in hot, dude. Like I'm bringing people that a professional boxer. Because I have MMA fighters that are coming here for wellness and recovery with cryotherapy. So I'm inviting them. So our table, this is going to be epic, dude. Without the pun intended.
It's a great time. I have a good friend of mine who I grew up with in high school in New York that's coming out with his family, and he's not an MMA guy either.
Yeah.
And all he wants to talk about is next Friday night.
Yes.
All he wants to talk about is Epic 58 and how excited he's going to be. And I'm like, hey man, it goes past midnight. I know we're getting a little older. We're going to stay up that late. Our wives and the kids are going to be home. He's like, can't wait. Can't wait.
Yeah. So it's so funny that you mentioned that because I invited a couple of mine who own a wellness center. It's a hormone clinic, and I know that they go to bed by like 9. So I invited them, like, yeah, we'd love to go. And then, right, Kat and Jason. And then I said, a few days later, they're like, we're in. I'm like, oh, by the way, it goes from 8 to midnight. She's like, what? But she's a big networker. They love connecting with the community, and they love being a part of whatever we do, frankly. And she's like, all right, we're in. But it was funny that you mentioned that because that's like I'm in my 50s. I got kids. Like even I'm done by midnight. So it's a major stretch. But let me tell you something. Talk to me about the energy and the atmosphere at these fights.
It is absolutely fantastic. And just connecting with the other sponsors there, like you were just saying, it's worth it in and of itself. But like we were just saying, right? It's like I go to bed 9:30, 10 o'clock most nights, and there are two things that will keep me amped up. And actually, nothing is more. I was going to say worse, but nothing is better than coming back from an epic fight. I get home 12:30. I'm not going to bed till 1:30, 2 o'clock. And I'm not drinking. I'm just drinking water the whole night. And I'm just amped up from the energy. And it's so hard to actually go to sleep. I wake up the next day and it's like, my God, I slept like 2.5 hours. Yeah. But it's worth it because it's such a great environment to people watch, to feel the intensity. You're right there, to be especially where our table usually is, where the fighters come in and come out.
Yes.
And so many people at my firm really don't understand MMA like myself, but we can appreciate the intensity of it. We can appreciate the effort and just the excitement in the air. And that's worth it in and of itself.
I love that you keep like focusing on that because that's what it's all about, and especially the people that we're bringing that may have never gone to a fight unless we invited them. Number two, maybe didn't have the money to pay for a ticket to a fight like this, and then the atmosphere, the camaraderie, then mingling with the other sponsors. So for anybody that's watching that's like contemplating becoming a sponsor, what would you say to them as far as like giving them a little nudge to become a sponsor?
Yeah, I mean, give it a shot. Right?
Yeah.
Because I've had people even within my own firm that wouldn't come for the first year and a half. They wouldn't come to an event. Like, that's not my thing. I'm not about people hurting on each other like that. They came one night and they've been hooked. Yeah. And they don't watch MMA. They're not watching UFC. It's not like that's not part of their Saturday routine even after coming to the fights.
Yeah.
But it's like clockwork now. 4 times a year, they're there. They're all amped up and ready to go. So there's so much more than the appreciation of the fight itself. It's the atmosphere. It's the marketing. It's the vibe. It's meeting other sponsors. Rarely will we get a call. Let's be real here, right?
Yeah.
Rarely will we get a call and we say, hey, I saw you on I call it a turnbuckle based on my wrestling days, but the padding, right?
Turnbuckle.
People aren't calling and saying, hey man, I saw your firm on the padding in the octagon.
Right.
But it's people that we're meeting, other sponsors that are now connecting us to other people, and we're doing work in a community with connections that we made through Epic. So if you're going in looking at it from a pure ROI standpoint, it's not the right mindset. You got to look at it with who you're going to meet, and if nothing else, just the excitement of it. There's so many different avenues where it could be worth your time, worth your money, and worth your team investment into the whole Epic program.
You could not have stated that more perfectly, man, because I talk about this at the church a lot. If you're looking at this as a transactional ROI thing, that's not the way to look at this. There's so many more variables in this. And the biggest one is connecting with other big people, other big, the Wolf of West Coast.
Absolutely.
I had him on the pod. I met him that night at Epic 57. Within 2 weeks, he was on the podcast.
Absolutely.
That podcast has now changed lives because of the stuff that he was saying, because of the gold we dug out of his story. Look at that. Wow. That's in one thing. Wow. So just going along with your point of it, the biggest part about it is connecting, and people aren't going to look, oh, I remember seeing your Real Deal Wellness logo on the fighter shorts, so I'm here for some wellness. That's not how it goes. Right. This is about the connection. It's also about sewing into young fighters, sewing into our youth, sewing into guys that are looking for a shot to do something.
It's been great for me to watch and follow them on Instagram or on social media and watch their story, watch their training, and to have some idea of their